Baby, be in love with your fantasies. I can be a star, make a star so bright. Welcome to my dungeon, this is ecstasy. Let me play the fantasy.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ, and we back like we never left. Y'all, we back in the building. We had to pull up, and every time we pull up, we got to pull up the right way.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all for pulling up with us and supporting the channel. Now, you know, when you come over here, your opinions do matter. So when we read those comments, man, we appreciate every last one of them. And today, we're going to be jumping into a new one. Another video that's probably going to get a lot of opinions on this one.
Uh-oh.
Now, I just want to make sure, babe. Now, I know we was getting ready and everything. I know you was trying to reach for the lotion. You put the lotion on your elbows, right?
Babe. You always trying to come with some jokes and stuff, trying to call me out and stuff.
I know, but like on a couple of those reactions, you was like, babe, you need to make sure you put lotion on your elbows before people start saying something about your ashy elbows.
Babe.
And I came ready.
Why you bringing up old stuff? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, though. I'm just keeping it 100. Trying to stay transparent.
Okay. So what are we doing?
We're going to be jumping into how racist is Trump towards Black Americans. I felt that this was a good video to check out since we are Black African Americans.
Okay.
So we can give our account in regards to what we're watching.
Ooh,
you ready?
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
Come on, let's jump into it.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, smash the notification bell, and let's jump into this video.
Hey, let's go. Let's go, y'all.
Right. Water's wet, sky is blue. Donald Trump is a card-carrying, bona fide racist, right?
The President of the United States is a racist. His own words leave absolutely no doubt about that. What he is saying is not racially charged. It is flat out racist.
And this, of course, makes his supporters racist, right?
But for people who look like me, other minorities, women who have been, well, let's just leave this to race. This president has said and done so many insensitive and bigoted and racist things that if you support him, people like me want to understand why you ignored so much.
You know, to just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
But Black unemployment, historical lows.
I think the economy is doing absolutely great, and it's particularly reaching into populations that heretofore have had very bad problems in terms of jobs, employment, and the opportunities that come with full employment. So African-American unemployment is at its lowest level. I give President Trump, and I've said this before on Squawk Box, I give President a lot of credit for moving the economy in a positive direction that's benefiting a large number of Americans.
Yeah, but he's still a racist.
The problem here is that the president has unfortunately used language in the past that we will have a lot of difficulty in erasing, even with an eraser with the words unemployment drop. Because I think some harsh and painful words are just kind of hanging out here across the country as it relates to African Americans and some other minorities.
And what about the First Step Act? That's a law that allows prisoners who believe they have unfairly long sentences to have their sentences reviewed. And since President Trump signed that act, 1,000 people have benefited. 90% have been Black men. They've had their sentences reduced an average of almost 70 months.
The Senate tonight taking bipartisan action on something substantial, overwhelmingly passing a major prison reform bill. The First Step Act eases federal sentencing for nonviolent offenders, aims to reduce repeat offending, and expands early release programs.
Did he say bipartisan?
Mr. President, thank you so much. It's almost hard for me
to
speak about this without being emotional. In the process of this has brought together friendships that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I'm now texting buddies with Van Jones.
And speaking of Van Whitelash Jones.
How significant do you think this is? By the way, one of your partners in working on this was Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner, whose father went to prison and who fought on this as hard as that. This is history. This is history. Right now, you're witnessing history on the floor of the U.S. Senate. It is a Christmas miracle underway where, for the first time in a generation, Republicans and Democrats are arm in arm tonight saying, we are sending too many people to prison. They're coming out bitter and not better. We want to make a tremendous difference. I want to say Hakeem Jeffries on the left, Jared Kushner, and Donald Trump on the right have brought together a coalition like I've never seen.
And what about Trump's Music Modernization Act? Something that, again, President Obama didn't even do.
President Donald Trump today.
It's about time somebody actually like kind of came forward and said something, because I think the key part of this, what he was saying in regards to like the reform and prison reform, was the bipartisanship in regards to like Democrats and Republicans working together. Because a lot of times it takes, you know, leadership that can bring both parties together. That's definitely like one part that I like. Because again, you continue to hear people saying like he's racist, he's this, he's that. But when you start kind of seeing like some of the actual things that's been passed, some of the bills that's actually kind of been pushed through the Senate, you know, those things you can't pay for. Like, you can't pay somebody to say, oh, he did this or he did that or he didn't do this.
Right.
Like again, like your track record speaks for itself. And that's key. That's super important, because how could you be racist if, you know, the pretty much the entire, not the entire, but a big portion of the prison population are Black, minorities, and Latinos. And for someone to put through a bill through the Senate that actually helps them get out, in regards to like reducing sentences up to like 70 months, and then also having like, you know, programs that help them kind of get out and get on their feet, like with like the second chance programs. Like, you can't say somebody's racist when they're passing something that significant through the Senate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because that was pretty significant. And going back to what the other guy was talking about in terms of like the things that maybe he has perhaps said, I've said this before. I feel like it's not necessarily that, like, I don't feel like some like the things that he said was racist. I think there's some things that maybe he has said in general where it's just like, oh gosh, I can't believe he just said that. You know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, oh, you know, he's supposed to be the president of the United States. And granted, some of it was a little bit disrespectful. You know, that there was some things I can recall, like I was just like, whoa, I wouldn't have said that.
Right.
Like,
not being a president.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, but I even to say that, I don't think it was ever anything necessarily or particularly racist. I can't say that.
Anything that you've heard, you never really felt that it was racist. You just kind of felt that he was kind of out of place to say some things because he's pretty brash. We've seen like we've heard like his brash language, and sometimes he doesn't use like the best words to say things. You know.
Yeah.
They moved the music industry into the 21st century. He signed the Music Modernization Act, legalizing the landmark copyright reform for songwriters. The goal is to ensure songwriters receive pay for the products that they produce when you're listening to them on streaming services. Tennessee Senator Lamar Alexander championed that new law. He says the Music Modernization Act is the most important law in a generation to help make sure that our songwriters and singers all over America can keep working and making a decent living by ensuring they're paid when their songs are played.
Is this a great day for songwriters?
It is.
And artists. And artists, okay.
Yeah,
don't
give it
the
all to
artists,
them.
okay.
Don't cheat those artists. Don't cheat us.
Who benefits the most from this signing? I'm saying as far as...
I think both.
Both?
Both, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I lean more to the artists.
Yeah.
Because I'm a performer, you know. But it helps not just the writers, but the singers, and not just Black, but Black, white, all, country, jazz, everything. So I'm very impressed behind that.
So it's a great thing what Trump is doing today, the president?
It is. And you know what? I told everybody, please, whatever your opinion or your decision, please, let's keep it silent. Let him sign it, please.
Today.
Don't mess him up, please.
All right.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that, yeah.
And then there's President Trump's support for school choice.
The time has come to pass school choice for Americans' children.
So on the campaign trail, Trump didn't talk much about K-12 policy.
Why did she look like that? Did you see her roll her eyes? You see her right here?
Okay, well, she might be one of the disgruntled one because she's not clapping.
Ooh, she look a little pissed.
She look a little flustered.
I don't know. Watch this. Watch. Yeah.
So on the campaign trail, Trump didn't talk much about K-12 policy, but when he did, he talked about school choice. And Betsy DeVos is a longtime school choice advocate.
Well, I believe that that parents are the primary educator for their child or their children. And we have, to a large extent, removed a lot of that ability to direct and control by forcing way too many families to assign schools based on where they live.
Now, choice in education is something that blacks and browns want. Guess who doesn't want it? White Dems, who would never put their own kids in an urban school in a million years.
Now, the proposal that I brought forth on education ends all private charter schools in this country.
If I'm president, Betsy DeVos's whole notion from charter schools to this are gone.
We gonna have the same choice that you make for your kids, because I read that your children went to private school.
No, my children went to public school.
But we even if it was public school, it probably was the best public school. I can't pack up and say I'm leaving Hyde Park and going to Germantown. That's our suburban area, because I can't afford it. My daughter can't afford it.
I understand.
So we want to make what we got great, whether it's charter or traditional. And really, public schools are charter in where I come from, and we make parents know that charter schools are public schools too.
So let me just say, I appreciate nothing more than how much you care about your children and your grandchildren and getting them educated, and that's all I want to do. If I don't have the pieces right, then I'll go back and read it.
Go back and read it, please.
Go back and read it.
And I promise you, next time you see me, if it's reading the way it's going to benefit our children.
I'm not making promises. I'll go back and read it.
Go read it. Well, just read it.
That's it.
But it turns out that Senator Warren had a son in private school from the 5th grade on.
So see what I'm saying? Like, especially when you talk about like charter schools, public schools, and then you have, public figures, political figures, in the Senate, just the government that, their children never even have to experience that. So it's almost like, how do they actually like really know how it actually really goes on? And you see this woman that's actually like pleading with her to go back and read it, go back and like look at it, take another look, in regards to like making a decision in regards to like the schools that's in, in her local area.
So wait, was she arguing that the charter schools should stay? because they were saying that Biden said that he was looking at taking the charter schools away altogether.
That's what he's saying, but again, I just feel like public schools are somewhat a form of charter schools to a degree. Even like when you come here in our city, there are some in some areas like the public schools that they're now renaming them charter schools. Right. Yeah. So yeah, even with Elizabeth Warren, like I just felt like she was just kind of saving face, like, oh yeah, I'll go back and read it, I'll go back, but I can't make any promises because you already made your decision.
Yeah, of what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, I just can't. If that's your decision, just say that's your decision. But please don't save face. Please just don't tell me
something to make me be quiet.
Yeah, that's what she was doing right there.
Right.
Particularly, yeah. For sure. See.
But
Why would she say that though? Why would she lie about her kids going to private school?
Well, because of
to make it seem like she can relate to, other people.
She just straight told that. Like, didn't she just say in that video right there that her son went to a charter school? Did I hear that correctly?
The charter school.
That she said that her son went to a charter school. That's what she said. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
The charter school is pretty much like public schools here, in our city.
Yeah.
Which is nowhere close to private.
No.
I think any American understands that.
Maybe she misunderstood.
She probably just misunderstood it a little bit. Just
over and over again.
Slightly, yeah, just a little bit.
Move on. What about illegal immigration? And what does that have to do with blacks?
Now we must implement an immigration system that will allow our citizens to prosper for generations to come. Today, we are presenting a clear contrast. Democrats are proposing open borders, lower wages, and frankly, lawless chaos. We are proposing an immigration plan that puts the jobs, wages, and safety of American workers first.
A steady stream of people showing up at the building behind me. We're told 150 applicants in the first 3 hours of this job fair with about 30 minutes left to go. Cook Foods has not said how many people they're looking to hire, but the folks that we spoke with said they're definitely ready to go to work. Cook is just one of several chicken processing companies to get raided by ICE agents last week, with 680 workers detained for possible immigration violations.
Peter Kirsanow is a friend I've known some 40 years. He's a longtime member of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission.
That means they basically working here for free. Like, they working, they not paying any taxes or anything to anybody because they don't even know that they're here.
Mm-hmm. Kirsanow is a friend I've known some 40 years. He's a longtime member of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission.
Professor Briggs testified before the Civil Rights Commission. We had a whole host of people testifying before the Civil Rights Commission. The one cohort, the one demographic in the United States of America most harmed, most palpably harmed by illegal immigration are Black Americans. And politicians, open borders politicians know this. They know this because there have been numerous hearings before Congress on this. I've testified in a number of these hearings. George Borjas has testified in a number of these hearings. Stephen Camarada has testified, and we've presented all of this evidence, all of this data, that the pernicious effect of illegal immigration, of open borders, has had on Black Americans in terms of employment. Nearly 1 million fewer blacks work today because of the competition from illegal immigration than otherwise would be the case if we had a secure border. And it also depresses wage rates by a tune of $1,800 a year. George Borjas estimates that the depressive effects of illegal immigration on wages is anywhere from $99 billion to $118 billion annually, cumulatively, but it has the most significant effect on the Black community.
And did I mention Trump's expansion of so-called enterprise zones that will benefit the inner city?
It's a big day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order launching a new White House opportunity. This is a very big thing that Tim and I and everybody have been working on for a long time. And Revitalization Council. This council will coordinate efforts across the entire federal government to deliver jobs, investment, and growth to the communities that need it the most.
And then there's the commutation of the sentence of Alice Johnson, given a long sentence for a non-violent drug offense, and the pardoning of Jack Johnson, the first Black heavyweight champion who was busted for a crime involving the transportation of a woman across state lines for purposes of sex. It was a BS charge just designed to nail him, and President Trump once again did something Obama did not do, and that is to pardon Jack Johnson.
A great-grandmother gets a second chance at freedom after President Trump commutes her life sentence. Alice Marie Johnson served 21 years for a nonviolent first-time drug charge, but a serious charge of drug trafficking and money laundering. Her story caught the eye of Kim Kardashian West, who made a personal plea for the release to President Trump last week. Johnson shared an emotional reunion with her family after walking out of an Alabama prison yesterday.
They are the folks who had been lobbying for this pardon for years now. Johnson was the first African-American heavyweight champ, and in what was seen by many as a...
It kind of looked like Larry Elder a little bit.
No, he don't.
No.
No.
Well, Larry Elder looked kind of like him, just a little bit. No, I'm just playing.
Actual injustice. Johnson was convicted of a crime back in 1913. That crime was transporting a white woman across state lines. He died in 1946. Senator John McCain, former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, had also been pushing Johnson's case for years. But again, President Trump has posthumously pardoned Jack Johnson.
And did I mention that Trump has upped spending on historically Black colleges and universities by 14%?
Education has the power to uplift. It has the power to transform, and perhaps most important, education has the power to create greater equality and justice in our lives. That's why today I'm thrilled to be signing an executive order to recognize the importance of historically Black college and universities. Very important. They have played such an important role in achieving progress for African Americans and in our nation's march for justice. HBCUs have been really pillars of the African American community for more than 150 years. Amazing job. And a grand and enduring symbol of America at its absolute best. And I congratulate you all to say that.
Finally, a word or two about President Trump's support for law enforcement. Now, what does that have to do with black and brown people living in the inner city? Well, consider the Ferguson effect. That is what happens when officers are falsely accused of racism, as happened after Ferguson. Cops pulled back and crime went up. And guess who got disproportionately hurt by that crime? Black and brown people.
Well, the Ferguson effect is the twin phenomenon of officers backing off of proactive policing and the resulting increase in crime. Last year, we had the largest one-year increase in homicide in nearly a half-century. The vast majority of the victims of that homicide increase have been black. The reason for this crime increase, I believe, is that officers are living today under a false and dangerous narrative that says that they are shot through with systemic racism, that we're living through an epidemic of racially biased police shootings, and that the type of proactive policing that I think is responsible for a 20-year crime decline that this nation has enjoyed is under attack as racially oppressive.
Bottom line, whether you're talking about the First Step Act, the Music Modernization Act, the tremendous economy that's benefiting black people, the fact that Donald Trump is doing something about illegal immigration, the fact that Donald Trump supports school choice, this man has got to be the worst racist ever.
I think white people that like black people, y'all should get some sort of wristband or hand stamp or something.
No, man.
I'm dead serious. Something you can show in a dark alley to keep you from getting robbed. You know, you might not think that's a good idea, but you wish you had a wristband. You leave tonight and you're in that dark alley. Give me your money, white boy. Go ahead. Let her through. She got the wristband. Let her through, Chucky.
So, where's Donald Trump's wristband? I'm Larry Elder, and this has been The Larry Elder Show. I'll see you next time.
I don't know.
He said, let her through. Let her through, Chucky.
She passed it. She got the wristband on.
Yeah,
she got the wristband on. She okay with us.
They like us, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She not one of them. Now, another thing that I did learn here, it was in regards to the Music Modernization Act, like in regards to how that affects, you know, songwriters and artists. You know, did that affect your streams a little bit?
No. No, unfortunately not.
Because you are a songwriter, you are an artist, and I just had to check back in regards to like.
Hey, why you not call me out like that? Okay, y'all. Okay, go stream Asia Forte's music if you don't already. It's on Spotify, on Apple Music, all that good stuff. Okay, run them streams up.
Absolutely.
So I can get some type of benefit.
Compensation from it, but you see that will benefit you, whether it's not benefiting you now, but in the future it will benefit you in some way, in some facet.
Yeah.
And you know, another thing,
I didn't know that he had did that.
I didn't either.
I had no idea.
And again, when you pay attention to all these, like, you know, mainstream media news platforms, I just feel like I never like got any of this type of information whenever I checked out all these other outlets in regards to like the main news outlets. It's like they always talk, just like when we saw Don Lemon a minute ago. It's like their whole thing is like, he's racist. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't like black
that's
people.
What's being put out like that is what like the etching, the writing on the wall is for a lot of people, because it's been so etched into people's brains. Because you see stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's, you know, probably part of the problem as to, you know, how people are falling into that whole
a lot of it has to do with what
jumping on the bandwagon,
what you're being force fed too.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's what's being pushed out. You know, like a part of an agenda almost. Like that's what's being pushed.
Like my only analogy is like, you know, the way that they try to treat the American people. They try to treat the American people like they're some type of baby that's trying to sit in a high chair, and then you're trying to force feed them something. No, eat this. These are good for you. This is good for you.
Right.
And it's like, but those aren't the facts.
Right.
And it's like Larry Elder kind of laid it out in regards to like the actual facts and things that Donald Trump has actually done, not just things that they're trying to tell you so they can make you feel a certain type of way, because I feel like they try to evoke that emotion out of you, especially when they talk about racism, because that's like one of the hottest topics that the media can take and run with. But I really like where they were saying in regards to the historical black colleges, where, you know, in regards to like the funding, where it increased like 14%.
Yeah.
Like that's another good thing. And again, if he's racist, then, you know, those wouldn't be things that you would be trying to pass and push through.
Right.
Even if you're just trying to save face and you're just trying to look good in front of the black community, I still feel like if you're a true pure-hearted racist, you're not going to be really willing to do all those things, even if you are president.
Right.
You know.
I would agree.
And I really like how Larry Elder really put a lot of these accomplishments and things that got the facts, things that while Donald Trump was in office, like some of the important things that he did get done.
Yeah, I remember when he first started talking about the border wall, the wall and stuff like that, and how, like, you know, I don't know. I feel like it was a little egregious how they kind of pushed it out and made it sound like a certain type of way, and, you know, it's doing this, it's separating this and this and this. Like, it made it sound like it was just
a racist,
this horrible yeah, that's exactly. That's what it made it. Like, they made it sound like it was that way. That was the reason for the wall, was to separate Mexicans from Americans. You know what I mean? And the way that it sounded was like, well, damn, like, we're gonna just build a wall just to just make them different, huh?
Yeah.
Like.
But
the agenda behind that was completely different. It was a whole completely different motive. It was to keep the border safe, to keep people, like, even if they are crossing, you're gonna have to get over that wall.
We're gonna make it even tougher for you.
You're gonna go under it, however you need to get over it. It's not gonna be like just a walk in the park. You're not just gonna walk over here. You know?
How do you feel about it now, though? Because again, just like you said earlier on when they were talking about the border wall, they made it seem like it's a bad thing. It almost made it seem like it was a racist thing trying to separate.
Right.
But, you know, now us understanding how, you know, how unsecure the border was.
Well,
now
like,
it's like, oh, now we get it.
Right. But when you listen to how they just said, like, they had ICE go over there and take all those workers out of the meat market that are just walking across the border every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of stuff that should make you rethink, like, maybe we need something. Maybe if it's not a wall, a ship, a boat, okay?
Maybe the wall wasn't a bad idea. And again, like, maybe that's a far-fetched idea to try to build a wall from, you know,
it needs to be something there.
But that was like the beginning talk to try to get something done in regards to securing the borders more, because now, you know,
the wall don't sound too bad.
That's what I'm saying. Now the wall doesn't sound too bad, especially like we're in Texas, so we right there by Mexico, so we hear about all the things that's going on right now where they're literally like dumping immigrants into Texas now.
Thousands and thousands
because of the insecurity of the border. Right. So, wow.
Right. So, y'all let us know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. But if y'all enjoyed this, be sure you give us a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, smash that notification bell, join this family. And if ain't nobody else told you, I love you. We're going to see y'all in the next video. Y'all.
Absolutely.